Bill and his fiancée tried to ruin my wedding. So I gave them a big wedding present on their big day. I'm 24. My fiancé, Leo, and I were high school sweethearts, the kind of couple people root for. We met in sophomore year when he accidentally knocked over my science project, and instead of walking away, he spent the entire weekend helping me rebuild it. That's just who Leo is, kind, genuine, and always there when you need him. Growing up, we were inseparable. Through high school drama, college applications, and eventually moving in together, our relationship only grew stronger. We supported each other through everything. But Leo's family is complicated, to put it mildly. His parents are wonderful people who've always treated me like a daughter. But his older brother, Dave, he's the family's dark cloud, the kind of person who never outgrew his high school bully phase. I remember the first time I met Dave, at a family dinner shortly after Leo and I started dating. He spent the entire evening making snide comments about my small-town background, and how I was probably just after their family's money. "Don't let him get to you," Leo's mom had whispered to me in the kitchen afterward, helping me with the dishes. Dave's always been difficult. But Leo? He looks at you like you hung the moon. Over the years, Dave's behavior only got worse. He seemed to take particular pleasure in undermining any of Leo's achievements, always finding ways to one-up his younger brother. I just don't understand why he has to be so mean. I confided in Leo one night, after a particularly uncomfortable family dinner, where Dave had spent the entire time making snide remarks about my career choices. "He's always been like this," Leo sighed, pulling me close. "Mom says he's insecure, but honestly, I think he just enjoys making other people miserable." Enter Jenna, Dave's latest girlfriend. They met at a bar. According to the story, Dave loved telling at family gatherings, and it was love at first sight. In reality, they were two mean-spirited people who found their perfect match in causing drama. Their first appearance as a couple at a family gathering was memorable, to say the least. It was Thanksgiving, and Jenna spent the entire meal criticizing Leo's dishes and questioning why the family didn't hire professional caterers like her family did. "Some people actually enjoy cooking for their loved ones," his mom had responded diplomatically, though I could see her hands shaking as she served the pie. "They deserve each other," she once whispered to me during a family barbecue, after Jenna had made a teenage cousin cry over her acne. I've never seen two people more perfectly matched in their ability to hurt others. The day Leo proposed, we were so excited to share our news with the family. We'd planned to announce it at Sunday dinner, knowing how much it would mean to his mom to hear it in person. But as we unlocked our phones to start making calls to our closest friends, we were bombarded with notifications. Dave and Jenna had just announced their own engagement, mere hours before ours. "This can't be a coincidence," I said, staring at my phone in disbelief. The post was typical Dave and Jenna. Overly staged photos, lengthy captions about destiny and true love, and dozens of hashtags. Leo's jaw tightened. "Dave asked me last week if I was planning to propose soon. I should have known he was up to something. Should we wait to announce?" I asked, my heart sinking. We'd been so excited to share our happiness. Leo pulled me close. "No way, we're not letting them dictate our lives. But maybe we should wait a few days, let their news settle first." We waited a few days to announce our engagement, hoping to avoid any direct confrontation. When we finally shared our news, Dave and Jenna's response was exactly what we expected. "Wow, copying our special moment?" Jenna texted. "I guess some people just can't stand not being the center of attention. But don't worry, no one will confuse your rushed announcement with our genuine love story." "Can you believe this?" I showed Leo the message, my hands shaking with anger. "We've been together for 8 years. They barely made it 6 months." "Just ignore them," Leo advised, though I could see the frustration in his eyes. "They're not worth it." The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of passive-aggressive social media posts from Dave and Jenna, each one more outrageous than the last. They seemed determined to paint themselves as the superior couple, constantly posting about their unique love story, and making thinly veiled comments about how some people settle for high school sweethearts instead of waiting for true love. Against our better judgment, we invited them to our engagement party. His mom insisted it was the right thing to do, though she gave us a knowing look when she made the suggestion. Family is family, she said with a sigh, even when they're challenging. The evening started pleasantly enough, with our closest friends and family gathering at our home to celebrate. We transformed our backyard into a beautiful space with fairy lights and lanterns, and everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves, until Dave and Jenna arrived, an hour late and dressed like they were attending a red carpet event. "Oh, how quaint," Jenna said, looking around with barely concealed disdain. "I suppose this is nice if you're going for that homemade look." Throughout the evening, they couldn't help but try to steal the spotlight. Every time someone congratulated Leo and me, they'd somehow insert themselves into the conversation. The breaking point came later that evening. I excused myself to use the restroom, and as I was returning, I heard voices coming from the hallway. I stopped short, recognizing Dave and Jenna's voices. "It's going to be epic," Dave was saying, his voice gleeful. "I found this guy who's perfect for the role. He'll come in during the ceremony, claim he's Emma's ex, say she abandoned their baby to be with Leah. Oh my God, that's brilliant," Jenna giggled. "It'll completely ruin their wedding. That's what they get for trying to steal our thunder." "I've already paid him half," Dave continued. "He's a struggling actor, does this kind of thing all the time. He'll make it super dramatic, maybe even bring some fake baby photos." I stood frozen, my heart pounding. They were actually plotting to humiliate me at my own wedding. My hands trembled as I quietly pulled out my phone and started recording. "The look on her face will be priceless," Dave continued. "Maybe next time she'll think twice before trying to overshadow us. And the best part is," Jenna added, "everyone will be talking about it for years. Their wedding will always be remembered as the one where Emma's dark past came out." That night, after everyone had left, I showed Leo the recording. His reaction was exactly what I expected, pure fury. "He's done," Leo said, his face red with anger. "I swear to God, I'll—" "Wait," I grabbed his arm. "I have a better idea." Over the next few weeks, I did my research. Dave had quite a history of failed relationships, leaving behind a trail of angry exes. It wasn't hard to track them down. He'd hurt enough women that they had their own support group on Facebook. Sarah, his college girlfriend who he'd cheated on with her best friend. Michelle, who he'd borrowed money from and never repaid. Jessica, who he'd ghosted after a 2-year relationship. Each woman had her own story of Dave's cruelty and manipulation. I reached out to 8 of them, explaining my situation. To my delight, they were more than willing to help. We planned everything meticulously, waiting for Dave and Jenna's wedding day. The venue was exactly as pretentious as you'd expect, a converted castle with elaborate gardens and a champagne fountain. Dave and Jenna had been bragging about it for months, making sure everyone knew how exclusive and expensive it was. The waiting list is usually 2 years. Jenna had bragged at every family gathering. But Dave knows people. On the morning of their wedding, everything was perfect, exactly as they'd planned. The weather was beautiful, the flowers were arranged just so, and Jenna had spent hours getting ready in her designer gown. "Are you sure about this?" Leo whispered as we took our seats for the ceremony. I squeezed his hand. "Absolutely." Just as the wedding march began to play, the first ex walked down the aisle. Dave's face went pale as he recognized her. Then came the second, and the third. By the time all 8 women had made their entrance, the whole venue was in chaos. "Remember me, Dave?" Sarah called out. "Remember how you cheated on me with my best friend, then tried to convince everyone I was crazy? Or how about when you emptied my bank account?" Michelle added. "Still waiting for that repayment you promised." Jessica stepped forward. "Remember ghosting me after 2 years together? Right after my father's funeral?" Jenna stood at the altar, mascara running down her face. "What is happening?" she shrieked. "Dave, who are these women?" "They're lying," Dave stammered, but his face told a different story. "They're just jealous." "Jealous?" Michelle laughed. "Of what? Your ability to manipulate and hurt everyone who cares about you?" The ceremony eventually continued, but the damage was done. The reception was a subdued affair, with guests whispering among themselves, and a happy couple looking anything but. Dave kept drinking heavily at the bar, while Jenna sat at the head table, periodically bursting into tears. The next day, Leo's mom called. she said, her voice stern. I saw you recording everything on your phone. Want to tell me what's going on? After showing her the recording of Dave and Jenna's plot, she understood. While she wasn't happy about the drama, she agreed they had it coming. Just try to keep the peace from now on, she pleaded. For the family's sake. I think it's a bit late for that, I replied honestly. We've cut all ties with Dave and Jenna since then. They still don't know we orchestrated their wedding disaster, though they've been spreading nasty rumors about us. They've told anyone who'll listen that we're jealous of their happiness, that we tried to ruin their special day out of spite. We don't care. Our wedding was perfect, intimate, joyful, and drama-free. We held it in a beautiful garden, surrounded by people who truly loved and supported us. There were no fake exes, no dramatic revelations, just pure celebration of our love. Looking back, I don't regret what we did. Dave and Jenna tried to destroy our happiness, but instead, they exposed themselves for who they truly are. Leo and I are moving forward, leaving the pettiness behind. Our love has always been stronger than their negativity, and now, we're ready to write the next chapter of our lives, together, and free from their toxic influence. You know what the best revenge is? Leo asked me recently, as we cuddled on our couch, planning our future. What's that? Being happy, he said, kissing my forehead. And I've never been happier than I am with you. And he's right. While our revenge might have been sweet, our happiness together is even sweeter. We're focusing on building our life together, traveling, pursuing our careers, and maybe someday starting a family of our own. We've learned that the best response to toxicity is to simply live well and love deeply. Last week, we received a Christmas card from his parents. Inside was a note that made me smile. Thank you for showing us what real love looks like. Drama-free and beautiful. That's exactly what we're building. A life filled with love, understanding, and mutual respect. And that, more than any revenge, is the true happy ending to our story. Ready for our next adventure? Leo asked me this morning, as we packed for our delayed honeymoon. I looked at him, this man who stood by my side through everything, and smiled. With you? Always. And that's the truth. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together, stronger for everything we've been through and excited for all that lies ahead. Sometimes the path to happily ever after has a few unexpected turns, but that just makes the destination all the sweeter.